So as it's nearly spring, I decided to go to the spring of the Thames. We're going to do it with wild camping. We're going to walk all 200 miles, hopefully.
So if you want to follow me up the river, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, or share with your friends because it helps the channel.
The Thames is my local river. I live right by it. And it's something I've always wanted to do. I started this project in the 90s and noughties, and I walked from Cliffe Fort up to Abingdon. And then I abandoned it because it was just too expensive and too hard to do in day hikes. I did it in every weekend or so. Just over there, just behind me, is the London Stone. I was planning to ford the Yantlet Creek and show you more closer up, but it turns out that it's more of a mud fest than I thought. And even though I brought my waterproof socks and I brought my gear, I really didn't fancy being up to my gunnels in mud. The London Stone was built in 1856. A bit of a kind of a Victorian power move for the City of London to claim the waters up to here and say that on the Yantlet line, which is between here and the South End, there's something called the Crow Stone, to actually say that's where the Thames starts and we own this. A year later, the Crown took it away. So it's a bit of a kind of a doomed epitaph to that, but it's still there. And I decided London Stone as a point to start my walk all the way 200 plus miles away, which is where the source of the Thames, which actually they call Isis. I can't guarantee it's all going to be one stage, partly because we've got the whole of the centre of London, and I don't want to be camping in some London park. That's not, I don't feel safe doing that. I'm certainly be camping for today because we've got 12 miles away is the Cliffe Fort, and I think it's Shornmead Fort, something like that, which is where I'm planning to camp. Then there's Swanscombe, which is a disused concrete factory, which has got a harbour in there, but it's very sort of wild and probably can camp there, and up to about Dartford. After that, it gets really sketchy about places, and then about Barnes and Ham and that sort of area near where I live, that it gets more possible. So we'll see as I go along, and I've just gone as lightweight as possible for this because it's very much about doing the miles, and it's less about sort of uppy downies, it's more about the level. And this area is very derelict. Over that way, the reason why you can't get to Yantlet Beach without sort of fording this creek is that is a range, so it's not accessible. This along here is the coastal path, which then joins up into the Thames Path. I'll be following that into London. Spring is almost, well, certainly today, spring has sprung. It's probably going to be wet and cold any minute soon. It's Britain. And as I go along, I'll try and share with you photographs from the 90s and the noughties that I took. So you get a view of what it was like years ago versus now. And so it'd be interesting in the bit between Cliffe and Abingdon to actually see how things have changed. And finally finish this project I started in the late 90s. Let's get some hiking on. Let's get hiking on. Get your hiking on. I don't know. Tom Scott's better at this than me. I'm en route. And it's March. Does that make it a route march? I'm just walking up. I can't be bothered to wait for the bus up to All Hallows on Sea. Of course, being Kent, the roads have no pavements. On my way to Yantlet and jumping over a creek, hopefully not having to ford it, depending on the weather. I walk from Lower Stoke because the 191 bus from Chatham, Rochester is kind of odd to All Hallows. You really have to go from Grain. The bus goes from Grain to All Hallows on Sea, but it goes to Lower Stoke Nag's Head. And so I was supposed to wait there for like 20 minutes, and I was like, no, I'll walk it. I almost got there. By the time the bus stopped, and the bus actually stopped for me and let me back on again. The lady was really nice, so that was good. The defunct British Pilot pub is where the walk to Yantlet starts. Yeah, I might regret doing that later. About sort of doing the extra mile and a half. But it's just like I've been cooped up in trains and buses for hours. I'm just like, I want to get on. I want to get on. So we'll see. It's after 10:20, which is the south end low water time. So we'll see if the channel is fordable. Apparently it's jumpable at low tide. There's a lot of mud here. I'm not sure how fordable it is. Yeah, that's the fordable channel, allegedly. But it looks like it's very glutinous to get to it. So I think I might give it a miss. And this is partly why I'm wary about this beach, because Geoffrey John Hammond, an artist, teacher and naturalist conservationist, drowned here in March 2nd, 1975. It's not really somewhere where you want to take risks, I think. Yeah, I found this. I don't know where this came from. I mean, it must have been one hell of a putt, because you can see there's no golf courses around here. I'll take this with me on the hike, and this is my totem for the hike, because that's my mother's maiden name, so that's kind of an interesting omen. I found this too. Blue pottery, which again I might take with me as well. It's a little totem. Another piece of blue pottery. Yeah, that'll come in with a face on it. It may seem strange amongst all the tankers and fuel terminals, whatever, on the Isle of Grain and the Hoo estuary, which was on the Hoo part at the moment. And it may seem strange, the idea of having a holiday park, but in the 1920s I had a dream of such, and that is, well, part of All Hallows on Sea. The train line even here, and it was this big development, and the Second World War happened and it all stopped. And so now you've got this caravan holiday park pretty much in between the refineries and the power stations. It's very strange. It's so childish, but... What's wrong with sailing? This is Dagenham Saltings. I think it's a last guess through here. I'm not totally sure. Lovely table. Having some lunch. See, it looks like plastic inflatable, but I think it's flies. Yeah, wow. Oh yeah, I'm not happy with this wind. I'm going to have to camp somewhere like down there, the other side of the seawall. Weirdly, one of the last walks from Cliffe to All Hallows, and I totally misjudged it and ended up at dusk heading inland and catching a bus at the place called the Fen Bell, which is a disused pub. I don't think there's anything there now. I passed there earlier. I recognised the junction. I was like, oh, it's here. And so I just managed to get like a late bus from there, but I had to walk many miles inland to find it. And it was a horrible sort of route march, because initially it was just kind of like old military style roads, like concrete roads, and then it became just across fields. I'm not sure I had a torch with me, so I think I actually had to use the dwindling battery of my phone to get me across the field. And I was waiting in the dark for this bus to take me back to, I don't know where, Gravesend or somewhere near there. Yeah, I remember that. Boy! It never gets boring, that one. Actually, it probably does, actually. There's a boy in the water! Oh no! Actually, no, there's a boy on shore. This was arranged around World War One. And you see these buildings and you have no access to them at their range. People have gone in there. And you'll see something similar at Dartford. Nothing weird. Where else do you get refineries and golden beaches? Thames cinema would be wonderful if it wasn't for this wind. And also all this rubbish. This whole coast is littered with trash, garbage, crap. And it's this real shame. A lot of it is the flotsam of London. You get so many buckets and some amazingly large pieces of wood. Yeah, you kind of worry about all this sort of crap that's on here. So I've seen cows down, eating up these grasslands. Must be a problem. Eating all this random stuff, chairs, bits of plastic, loads of plastic buckets, hard hats, kids' cars, safety signs, and even I've seen where a life ring attaches to, which is like worrying. Like, where's the rest? Where's the life ring? It's such a shame, It's like we talk about leave no trace, but where I could carry all this stuff? There's just too much to it. It's 3 p.m. or a bit after 3 p.m. and I just hit that wall. It's just, I just want to go sleep here, but it's kind of not here. Obviously, in this wind. I've done about 5-6 miles at least, and obviously about a mile and a half more when I was, going up from the bus today. I'm probably tired because I only got about 5 hours sleep, so I think I'm just hitting that sort of, not much sleep, just exhaustion more. And Cliffe is about 4.5 miles that way, so I want to be close to there, or if I can get to Sean Mead today, that would be great, but that's a few miles on from that, so it's a bit of a push. Sean Mead is weird. It's like the actual land around it, the marshes, I think, are MOD. They've got that little red hatched sort of like danger thing. So that's in their range. But I think the fort isn't, so I should be right on the fort. I might be right nearby as well, but just, I don't know. No idea if and when they're firing. If you like spaces that are abandoned or not full of other people, try the walk from All Hallows via St Mary's Hill and to Cliffe. It's almost like a different planet. Over the river you can hear tankers and sounds of life, but on this side it's very deserted. People talk about London and the southeast being crowded and really busy and all that sort of stuff. I haven't seen anyone on this walk from All Hallows since I saw a couple of people about 2 hours ago on the shore around those pillboxes, but that was like 3 hours ago, and I've not seen anybody since. It's like this. Nobody. It's very good for wildcamping if you can find somewhere sheltered, but it's also, it's just good for getting away from people, and I think people don't realise that in cities there are places like this, or nearby cities, that it's not necessarily rural areas that are really quiet. In fact, the rural areas quite often have loads of people, day tripping there. Whereas here, it's just lots of abandoned things. I think I found my perfect spot. Even a bucket, if you need a bucket. I've checked the tides, and we're at just after high tide, so it won't come up here. We have some chairs, and it seems like a fire pit that someone's done, but I think it's fairly flat here, so we're sadly near this sort of drain thing. Beggars can't be choosers. And it's a little bit sheltered. The wind's coming that direction, so it's a bit sheltered down. It's a bit more windy than I prefer, but I was going to walk past and like, no, I'm not too sure about that view. Maybe not the best one, but otherwise, I think it's quite a beautiful spot. It's not stealth, but it's a beautiful location. Well, maybe not the... Don't get better than that. Yeah, just to put it up again. And put it up in a very long time. I couldn't remember how. It's not too bad down here. Hopefully the wind doesn't change. That was fun at the back. Because, yeah, we're going into kind of like rocky, sandy thing that might pull out. Weird noises, some of these birds make. Yeah, it might be a bit much to just realise it's going to be ongoing all night, isn't it? It's not going to get dark. I'm using my titanium pot to save weight, although it's taking a long time to heat, I have to say, compared to my aluminium pot. And we got some parmesan, and we got obviously the truffle oil, and usual herbs and stuffs. It's a gallo, it's a posh risotto. And that's my other Caldera cone, the first one I did, the smaller one for that pot. The slowness of alcohol stoves kind of solves my problem with the titanium-ish, but I'm still having to stir it a lot. Boiling or near boiling. For my drink, which was a lovely chocky drink from Aldi. The Aldi chocky drinks are better than Cadbury's, by the way, they're really good. I don't know how warm it's going to be. Because I didn't bring my pink knit blanket, thinking, oh, well, it's warmer now, and then I'm now camping, beach camping, basically on sort of grass, but it's on really, gravel. Rubbish. By God, it's British rubbish. But anyway... It's quite an oddly magical place for someone that's so kind of industrial. A lovely beach, there's some strange flotsam. This little fire pit area. And who thought you could have beach wild camping on the Thames? Red wine. And no need for lighting. Well, it is for when I'm filming, but, yeah, no need for lighting. Risotto was dried mushrooms, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of bacon, sort of crispy bacon I grated in the oven, parmesan, pepper. I think that's it. It's really tasty, very tasty. The other Caldera cone doesn't fit as well. Slightly off. I need to munch this really quickly because, of course, titanium goes cold so quickly. It's all things I miss about my fire maple.
I hope you enjoyed the first day of the Thames Spring series. If you enjoyed that, there are many days to come, so make sure you're subscribed. Depending when you see this, I'll put a video from a previous series or the next episode of Thames Spring on the screen now. So I hope to see you soon.